Construction type 5B, 2 stories in height, approximately 3,240 square feet total gross floor area, located at 16 Oak Street, Incorporated Village of Valley Stream, County of Nassau, State of New York. The petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.3, Exception 1, which states spaces created in basements may have a ceiling that projects to within 6 feet 8 inches of the finished floor, and beams, girders, and ducts in such space or other obstructions may project to within 6 feet 4 inches of the finished floor. Existing finished ceiling heights in spaces in basements shall not be reduced. Petitioner is seeking a variance to allow basement ceiling heights that are less than allowed. Okay, when last we spoke, you were going to come back with a more comprehensive set of plans. And I believe we had asked your design professional to join us on the second hearing. And let's take it from there and see if we can clarify some of the concerns we had at the last hearing. Okay, Mr. Quater.
Yes. Good morning. This is Mohammed Qadir, resident of 16 Oak Street. I'm here for the hearing. All right, go on. So, as far as the basement, what are the clarification that you needed? The height of the girder and whatnot. It's already in the plan. Is there any other question that was raised?
Oh, we had asked for approved plans from the building department. We had
Yes.
asked for your design professional to attend the hearing, to ask, answer technical questions. We had asked for some, there were some contradictions in the photographs and the floor plans. So we asked for the floor plans to reflect accurately the existing as-built site conditions. And then we had some discourse about how we can get this thing to a path of approval with a wall underneath the girder, egress windows, all stuff like that. So let's start from the beginning. Let's talk about the use of each side of the basement.
All right, so the primary usage for the basement is for recreational use, pretty much, which this basement is attached with the staircase with my living room upstairs. I have provided the plan to Lola, the entire plan, and also the plan of the basement, clarifying some questions that you had. As far as the window or fire exits and whatnot, the existing door that's connect the unfinished basement to the unfinished basement, there's a doorway that access that you could exit as a fire exit. And as far as the height itself, that was in question. It's an existing height. There's nothing you could do about it. It was there. That's the reason why I was in the variance. And we have came up with a solution where if we export the exposed girder, we use a yellow, very bright color paint, yellow or red, to avoid hitting our head on it. So there was a solution that we came up with.
No, I got to read the minutes because we talked about, you had said that you were okay with unfinished storage, that not recreation space, because recreation is habitable. I had asked you if you were okay or amenable to putting a wall underneath the girder because it is rather low at 5'7". And then I have notes saying that it was 5'5.5". And I think Exhibit B on your old application had a tape measure on it that showed it 5'5.5" to the gray tile. So maybe you built up the floor. So that's rather low, 5'5.5". And that's where the wall discussion came up, putting a wall up and then having a door in the wall to go into an unfinished area, and then having the finished walkway, say to your laundry room in the bathroom. That was the discussion that I recall. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
That's correct.
So the other thing that we also looked at it having a that was on the table having a some kind of tape or something like that. That was also in the discussion, but I don't know if we agreed on it or not. But that was also in the discussion.
is it 5'5.5" or is it 5'7"?
It's about 5 foot. I think I submitted the pictures. Let's see. Does Lola have the pictures that I have?
No, it's not Lola's responsibility.
Yeah, we haven't.
Is it 5'5" or is it 5'7"?
It is 5 foot. At certain section is 5'7".
It's 5'7".
Yeah.
What is the minimum?
It was
Minimum.
5.7. I don't know why
It's
5.
5.7 is
Yeah,
the
it's
minimum
5.7.
under the
One
gutter.
at a time, gentlemen. So we have,
Sorry.
well, we have basically two areas. We have what I call the left side, I think that's east, I'm not sure, which is presented, it's presented now as finished. It was unfinished before. And on the right, he's showing the walls being furred out. That was finished at 6'11". The drawings now show a 5'7" to the underside. But we have a photograph that shows 5'5.5", and there was discussion in that from the minutes of, in the October meeting, that was confirmed that it was 5'5.5". So we're asking you, we have drawings signed and sealed by a design professional that say it's 5'7", and then we have exhibits that show 5'5.5". Maybe it was before the tile went down and you built up the floor?
No, the previous one.
Yeah,
Let's see. Let me see if I have the exhibit with me. I'm sorry. I'm having some technical difficulties with it. Exhibit and
can you see that? No?
um,
Exhibit B.
exhibit
Shows
B.
a nice fancy tile at the bottom of the stair, and then it transitions over to the gray tile underneath the beam. And you have a clear as day tape measure. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65.5 inch to the drywall. It's clear as day. That precipitated the discussion about putting a wall under that beam, because if it is a habitable recreation room, you're easily gonna knock your head on that drop soffit, and that's something I'm not comfortable with, 5'5.5". So
Yes.
I had asked in the minutes, and you said, yeah, I'm okay with that, I just want to get it done. I'm okay with unfinished storage. And then there was discussions all over the place about the stair stepping down into the opposite storage area, which is now reflected as finished. It's called open cellar at 6'11". There's no height to the bottom of the girder on that side. And then we see clearly the exit stair going out to grade. And then we talked about an emergency escape and rescue opening on the other side. And then we didn't have a survey or a plot plan, so that was a condition to come back with. And I think these drawings do have a site plan or a plot plan
Yes, it
and
does.
to discuss where possibly would be a good location for that. And I think that kind of brings us
So,
up to date.
The reason we also didn't want to put the wall in because, as far as the exit, so the finished basement, there's a door next to the stairway that leads to the unfinished side of it, and which leads to the exit door. So if we're putting a wall in between in it, that might causing another fire hazard, maybe possibly have to put in an egress window. So to minimize the cost and whatnot, we also explored that not to put a wall, because one of your board members said that might, if we even put a wall, that's also restricting or movement in case of emergency and whatnot. So we just left it open, and the stair that you see on the plan, right next to the stair, there's a door that leads to the unfinished side of the door, which also leads to the exit door.
So mention upsetting the,
But it doesn't lead directly to the exit. It's discharging the stairs from the first floor to the basement on the plan that I'm looking at, just discharges down into the left section of the
It's
basement
both
itself.
sections. It's right and left, actually. I'm sorry. As far as the
It's
left,
on the wall, it's on the center wall.
correct.
Okay, so here's my question.
Yes.
Is this an owner occupied building?
Yes.
You're the owner of the property?
Yeah, I live here. Yes.
The design professional that's here today, is it the same person that signed and sealed the drawings?
Yes.
Do
No.
you have a copy of the approved stamped plans from the Village of Valley Stream?
Mohammed, you're supposed to have it. I don't have it with me.
This is
This is the one I'm sorry, Mohammed.
yeah.
This is the one was approved for the building department.
Right.
And by the time of the construction, Mohammed has the full approve for the building department.
Yeah.
We can share with you, so Mohammed can share with you the approve for the building department.
So with respect, understanding that, and from my seat, I would like to see the approved stamped plans and see if they differ from anything that's been presented to the board since the last time and today.
So
Yeah.
Because it's considered the record set at the village.
Yep.
just to clarify this, initially, the finish being having it finished was not in filed. It was unfinished initially, and then we finished it.
Right, but then that would be an application to the village amending the approved plans. What I would like to see, for me to make a determination and vote on something like this, I would like to see all of the plans so that because they tell a story.
Yeah.
And right now, what we're seeing is from your side, but I want to see from the village's side.
The village side, they have, after this plan, because of the ceiling height was in question, they're the one who told me that to come to state variance because they won't be able, they did not allow it. And they said you have to go through state variance for the ceiling height. That's what I'm
So
saying.
the plans we have in front of us say amendment as per customer, October 21st, 2019. And then the amendments are bubbles, Amendment 1. So what you're saying is these amendment drawings have not yet been submitted to the village?
No, these are submitted except the basement plan, which we're here for the variance. But the other amendments that was done previously was submitted and approved.
Okay.
Because this says Amendment 1 and it's got the basement bubbles.
Okay.
So it's
Let
a little
me-
confusing.
Let me a little bit clarify something. Remember, the unfinished basement that we have here, the private, the existing house has a garage there. When we build the second floor and we would do all those new renovation of this house, we get approval with the unfinished basement, okay? Because we enclose area and the unfinished area before we having two garage door to go to that area, the area which right now is unfinished. In order to have the unfinished basement in order to get the egress window to comply with the unfinished basement, we have to put in an egress. That's why we creating the cell and entrance on the right side of the building. So to try to connect in that area which we have in the bathroom and the laundry room, which is right now is unfinished, we connecting through the unfinished to go to the outside for the egress window. That was what the requirement for the village in order to us to have in this basement. From the beginning of the of the construction, we know that this basement will be just only to using for unfinished and recreation a little bit this one because we having the issue because we're having the height. And then when we passed the first amendment, as you said that, if you look over there, we passed the amendment that we was unfinished, we having the cell and entrance, and then we complying with this situation. However, because we finished that one, so the Mohammed want to finish this area, we have to create it in a bathroom. And if you sit over there before we have a shower, and we remove it because it's not gonna pass it, because I know with the New York State, you're not allowed to have in that low area on the basement to having a 3-pieces bathroom. So say that's why we are here right now to try to get in that little portion of the basement and finish because they have in the laundry and the time that the homeowners coming on down, they just only want to use in this one as his personal stuff. So definitely we have in the first amendment approval. So the one that we don't have it approval is the basement because we are in the process. So we received the denial letter for the village department in order to have and go to you guys to apply for the finished basement.
So do you have that denial letter that you could give us?
We can find Mohammed, you're supposed to have it.
Yeah,
So
find
we can forward to you those denial letters from the building department. Definitely, yes.
absolutely.
So I have Exhibit C that shows a photograph of the outside stairs. So you built that already? And that was something
Yeah.
that was required by the village?
Correct.
Yes, that's correct. This was required for the building department
under
in order to
amendment?
have in this basement. Yeah.
Hold on, was that on the amendment approval or under the original building permit approval?
With amendment approval.
Okay, so when we met in October, we asked to have those plans here for today's meeting.
It's
So now
there.
you don't have them. So we're gonna do the best we can, but no guarantees here.
I think I'm sorry to interrupt. I think that we submitted the entire plan.
This is not a municipality approved set of plans. This is what was requested at the last hearing.
Okay. I have the
Village approved plans.
physical copy.
Am I missing something?
No, I think it's a very important part of what you're asking for is to provide us with the stamped plans from the village building department And if there was an amendment submitted, you would have a receipt for an amendment so that and also they would, if they gave you some type of comments, those comments should be part of the record today so that we can understand the mindset or the village's path to get you here today.
Do we have a CEO questionnaire in the application?
I'm sorry, just to clarify, the stamp one that I have, I physically have a copy of it, which submitted. I don't know if you could see it in the village. Is it clear?
What's the date on that? 10/20/2021?
And 2021, correct.
And these are 2019.
This is for 2019 plan, yes.
So could,
No, I'm saying the plans we're looking at are from 2019 amendment. So 2
I would
years
like
later.
to see the full set of plans.
Here. Let's see what's down right here. This is the original application. Do you believe the petition should be heard by the Board of Review? Yes. Has any actions been taken relevant to, yeah, no. You support processing the request of a routine? Yes. NYCR Part 1220. And no other comments. Benjamin Pontrello, Incorporated Village of Valley Stream. Maintain a finished basement in a two-family dwelling. So where do we go from here if we don't have any municipal drawings to show us?
This is the same exact copy of it, actually, the one that you have, except the basement clarification of the girder heights and whatnot. So the copy that I've provided with you guys, the digital copy, is pretty much reflects the same copy, which is stamped as well. Except the clarification that was made in the basement, or with the ceiling heights, with the heights and the width of the basement girder.
I think we should get all our questions out first and then we can
Right.
decide.
I was on, we're on.
No problem.
Right.
So the village approved, there's a original approved plans or amended plans?
This is the amended approval plan.
So what was the date on that?
It's October 2021.
So from October 2021, we're in 2024. Took that long to get here?
Yes. It's one of the things that, that was pending, and there's personal issue came along and whatnot, and I wasn't going through the course and whatnot. I was busy with something else. So when I really had time, when I got the call from the village saying that we need to close up the permit, that's when I kind of moved on to it again, in the process of moving it. But at the same time, we went back and forth, different court, especially with the state. I applied. My original application for the state was July of 2023, actually March or April of 2023. It took me a while to get a court date. All the paper got together, and then corporate adjourned. Now we're in adjourned, and then now we're in 2024. So the whole process, it's been a while, almost a year with you guys. I mean, less than a year with you guys, just with the states, and then I had to go with the find the design professional schedule and whatnot, and my work schedule. So the whole process took a while because of the whole. It was not one of the priority thing in my personal life, but there's something on the side that we want to move along as well.
I just need to clarify some things. I'm calling it, based on the floor plan on A1, I'm calling it the left space and the right space. I don't know if that's south or east and west and north, but
Looks like the south side here.
so where your stair comes down from your unit, I got a couple of questions. You come down the stair and there's a beam right there. It says new to 1 7/8 by 9 3/4 LVLs. What's the height to the bottom of that girder?
That girder is not exposed. It's in
Flush with the ceiling?
flush with the ceiling. Yes.
Okay, I should say that. And then we go to that whole entire space. You mentioned recreation use. Recreation, as I understand, is habitable space.
Yes.
You had said in October that you were okay possibly with keeping that space unfinished. Storage.
Well, I'm sorry.
Storage and, hold on, storage and recreation are two different uses. So if there is a potential conditional approval and it says unfinished storage only, you can't have a rec room down there. It'll be on your CO.
Okay.
So we need to understand how you want to use the space and what mitigating factors we could put in, like that contrasting pink that you talked about, or a wall under the girder, or some other padding or something like that, that could potentially be a conditional approval.
Okay.
But how do you want to use that space? The plans show recreation. You had mentioned, I have in my notes that you were okay with unfinished storage on that side. So we need to get to a point where I need to understand how you want to utilize both spaces. And then we can talk about, if there's something else you can do to help us
We
give you a
definitely want
positive
to.
decision.
Will
Go ahead.
I am using it part of storage, actually storage, and there's my laundry room and whatnot. So I'm gonna keep it as such.
So on the site plan that you provided to us, it says on the north side, or where the driveways, existing driveway to be relocated and backfill with grass, it says 2-story frame, garage under. So the garage under is where the basement is, where the new entrance is. Is that correct?
Correct. On the right side, looking at it, yes.
But the plans don't show that. Plans don't show that you're removing that. It just shows
Is there a demo plan?
not even a demo plan. They
I
only
think
show the
they're-
demo plan of the first floor and the
second
second floor.
GC to close up existing garage door opening to match surrounding area, install steel angle. There's no building sections through this project. So the answer to my question I heard was storage. Whether it's finished or unfinished. You have raw concrete block walls on the left side. You have that gray tile on the floor, and then you have raw concrete walls. And then drywall on the ceiling.
Right.
That's the photos I saw?
That's
Okay.
that's for the garage space. Yeah, old garage space, I should say. Yes.
No, the left side. The right side is the old garage.
Right.
The drawings show the walls being furred out with finished drywall.
Right.
What is that? Is that going to be storage?
Which I'm sorry. Can you clarify which side?
Like I said before, left and right.
Both those
so-
gonna be in storage, the left and right.
The right side where the old garage doors were,
Right.
you said in October that you don't even use that.
Yeah, I don't even use that, but just put whatever trash is, whatever things is there.
Does anybody else in the other tenant use that basement?
No, no one. I only have access to those areas.
Okay.
Mhm.
And your intention is just to use it as storage? Is it finished
Yeah.
storage or unfinished
It's
storage?
unfinished. The right side is unfinished. The left side is finished.
And that is a 6'11" ceiling height? Do
Yeah.
we know if the beam complies, the beam projection? Or is that flush as well?
The beam projection is there. The steel plate that you see that goes across, that's the projection.
Is it below the 6'4" as per code?
Yes.
It's below 6'4"?
6'4", yes.
Do we know what it is?
I think I sent a picture.
Well, it's not on the drawing, that height.
I've sent a picture, I believe.
Normally, there'd be a little note that says that it's flush, or if it's upset, or if it's dropped. Those are typical, normal drawing conventions to help us understand the behavior of the beam. So right now, it just calls out the size, doesn't call out the height to the
I
bottom of the
mean,
beam.
if you
to
give me
demonstrate
like 2
compliance.
minutes, I could just measure it and let you know. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, we
it's
need to
not-
know if it's part of the variance, yeah, and if it's lower than the 5.5, which probably isn't.
No, it's not. It's not less than 5.5. That's for sure. Because I could walk under it without me. I'm 5'10", 5'11", and I could walk under it without buying my head. So it's definitely high over that.
Robert, there's a picture after A1.6 drawing. And I think that is what depicts the beam.
Typical floor joist connection?
Which drawing?
You know, there's a detail, but the detail should be tied into the floor plan somewhere so we could see where this condition exists. This says 2x8, so that's not the beam that we're talking about.
All right.
Um,
I think it's approximately 6'1".
That could be right. That's about
so
right.
it makes sense unless it's wrapped.
It makes sense, yeah.
So what Mr. Nation is doing is, all right, it's a 9 3/4 LVL minus the 6'11". And if it's not wrapped in drywall, then and then it projects below the 6'4". So that beam,
Yeah, it
Also
is, it is exposed, not wrapped in drywall.
Is there a freezer underneath that beam right now?
Yeah, for now we just, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the picture, that's right after the A16 drawing. So if you go to, yeah, A1.6 drawing, if you go down there and there's a handful of pictures, that's that first picture,
yeah.
which is really small and it's hard to see, so you gotta zoom in.
So back to Mr. Pavone's concern about this municipal approval, you have an approved amended plan that required you to put in a second means of egress, an emergency escape and rescue opening, which is an exterior stair, which you did under that amendment permit. What was the use of the basement called out for, and did they highlight the deficiencies? Or the deficiencies were picked up on inspection? You know what I'm saying? The path is a little gray.
Yes, but we specified it on the plans. So that's why the building department requests to go to you guys.
I would like to see those comments.
Yeah, so what was it? Was it the beam? That was it?
Was the
Was this
ceiling height that was in
With the
question?
ceiling, there was the ceiling height, correct?
6'1" and the 5 foot, 5.5. So I go back to my talking point about putting a wall under the beam and keeping that storage only with a door.
Doesn't that raise more
It's storage,
safety issue? Just in case of
No.
emergency? Okay,
storage. You have a storage room.
okay.
I mean, I'm just speaking for myself. I know Mr. Hames was here. He's not here today, but he had asked, if we do make that a room, then we talked about an
Putting
emergency.
emergency means of egress, which would be according to the site plan that we have, is where looks like there's an area to be demolished that's hatched, and it would be into that supposed driveway,
Driveway area, yeah.
which you could still, with the amount of space, get vehicles around it.
I mean, it's not required. It would be a condition of a variance, right? I mean, I got a storage room in my basement and, there's no egress window out of a storage room. So I think you had that second way out. You have the main interior stair, you have the other stair, which if you remain unobstructed, shouldn't be an issue.
And if the gentleman wants habitable space, he could always use the former garage.
Yeah. do you
Who was
understand that?
speaking? This is the court reporter. Who was speaking there?
That was Mr. Nation, Courtney Nation from the regional office. So what he's saying is you have 6'11" on the right side, which is much more conducive to having a recreation space like a pool table and a playroom and stuff like that. That complied with code, except for the 6'1" drop girder projection, which we've granted variances, I think, with contrasting paint at a 6'1" girder, not a 5.5. So keeping the left side is unfinished storage, having a nice tile pathway to your laundry room and your bathroom, and then you go through the door and you have this old garage space that's, well appointed for recreation at 6'11", which meets the code with an exit directly out of the space.
So, I'm sorry, in another word, you suggest to put in underneath the 5.7 gutter, put a wall with any door to go inside to the
With the door.
6'1"
So when you
ceiling
open a
height.
door, you negotiate the drop at 5.5
Okay,
at the door. You're opening a door
Okay,
and proceeding through under the, so you're less inclined to hit your head. And then the rest of it is a wall. It's basically creating a hallway to your laundry room and
yeah,
your bathroom.
exactly, that's what I'm gonna say. You're creating.
And then
a-
you have an unfinished space, you'll have smoke detectors in there, it'll be well lit. And the boiler room will be enclosed. It'll be like a utility room.
Yeah.
And then
okay.
your recreation space is on the other side.
So Mr. Santana, you're the professional of record, correct?
Yes.
So could you just give us your address and everything? Because that's not the same person that's on the sealed plans that we have.
That's what I said. I'm the architect designer with working with Frank Seborga, which is the record, the designer record in this application. We are partner.
Okay.
Yeah, we had asked for the design professional, which would be Franz Saborga. Is the person taking responsibility for the project. I understand you work for him, but that was our previous request. So we're doing the best we can with you guys and what you're giving us.
Okay.
Where we last left off was having the uses amenable to the space. So flipping the uses, getting your rec room on the better side, on the right side, and then creating storage, unfinished storage on the left side with some conditions.
Question is, more like I already have the, the tiles and everything is done. So if I, decide to, as per the approval, if I put the wall, do I need to break those tiles in the wall as well? Because
Tiles in the wall?
yeah, because the storage room, you said unfinished, but it's already finished. The work has been done.
I'm
Does it
sorry,
require me to?
I'm sorry.
I had asked you earlier if, and you said there were concrete walls. Are they not concrete?
The right side is concrete wall.
No,
The
no,
left
no,
side.
left side. That's what we're talking about, right?
No, we're talking. Okay, left side has their finished walls.
Okay, I thought we had photos.
The photo shows finished wall.
Do we have, Erica, help me out here.
Those
What do you
photos-
need?
Steer me to a photo that shows that space finished, because I don't see it.
We don't have a photo of that finished. As far as I understand from the conversation is that they finished it after the last time we met. Right?
We can ask the petitioner that.
I'm sorry. What you said?
I think I understood that you had said that after the last time we met, you finished the basement.
No,
After
no,
the, no,
I think that you're
didn't really-
confused.
No, there was a confusion. Yeah.
The
Sorry,
laundry
go ahead.
area is finished and the right side is unfinished.
The right,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
All right, I think I got it.
And I think on the third photos, okay,
Okay,
right,
finished.
we show the washer. You see the area with the tile floor and the finished wall.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. Like the
Yeah,
tile.
and that is should be unfinished.
The laundry area should be unfinished.
No, not around your area. The area that you have the tiles on that, the black one.
There's a black and white kind of checkered diamond
No,
tile.
no.
That's
solid
that's the
black.
walkway. That's the hallway that you're referring to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got it now.
Mhm.
So I was just looking at both applications and both photos submitted. So on the second newly submitted application and exhibits shows the right side where the garage was. That's got raw concrete floors, drywall on the ceiling,
Yes, that is
and
correct. Yeah.
sort of like a hybrid, unfinished concrete walls and some drywall.
Correct.
Tough to read, but so what you're asking me is on the left side space, which I was alluding to doing unfinished storage, you're saying is finished.
Right.
So I mean, I'd probably be okay with keeping it finished storage and conditioning the CO, as long as you put that wall up with the door.
Okay.
What about the emergency means of egress window?
That would be an additional condition. We can talk about it
Okay.
with the board. Is there a best place to put that? If we did require that, can we talk about an emergency escape and rescue opening in that area as well?
The finished area.
It would be like, you know what an egress well is, like a window well?
Yeah.
Okay. For the southeast side,
Hmm.
is there a place that works for you over there? The old crawl space window that you're closing up?
Right. It's already closed. I think where
The,
did I
the- the only concern about is the driveway that is close by, why we don't put it in the back, next to, next to the existing crawl space,
What about to the rear yard?
back to the rear yard, that's correct.
I mean, if we have a clear pathway from that room to all the way to through the exit, through the, throughout the unfinished side of the house, then I mean, I don't know why we need another egress window.
Okay, you could probably remove the finishes then, because they're gonna say, why do you need finishes for storage?
Mm,
6'1" is not a space to habitate in. So if you already finished it, we're understanding you spent some money, you have beautiful tile on the floor, but storage is a designation. That'll be on your CO. It's not gonna prevent you and your kids from having a slumber party in there. It should, hopefully, God forbid, nothing happens, but we're trying to weigh the safety concerns, and if it was used illegally, that there would be, in the case of emergency, a direct way out of that space. That's why Mr. Pavone brought up, is there the possibility of putting in an egress window on that side? Unless you want to take all the finishes off, now it's not what they call invitingly finished to be used and habitated. That's all. It's just a raw space to put storage in. So we're trying to talk it out and get there for you.
gotcha.
And potentially an egress window might be something that would be mandated if it's a vitally finished habitable space.
So okay, gotcha. I wasn't planning on spending any more, but I guess that's gonna cost me. All right.
Well, it's less expensive than dropping a slab,
Right. Yes,
which
definitely.
we've seen people do, and you get compliance and then you don't need to be here.
Right. Yeah.
So,
All right. That's something we could work on, having an egress window.
okay.
Mhm.
And then we have an enclosure for the boiler room.
Yeah.
It's two families, so we might have interconnecting smoke detectors upstairs. And then, I would be transparent with your use. And when you revise your plans based on any decision here, that if the right side is going to be recreation room, you put that on there. You put it on the plan, habitable space.
Okay.
You'll have your egress.
Okay.
And then, I think I've exhausted my questions. Anybody else have any other questions or suggestions? We're not asking you to raise the beam structurally, which we can. I don't think that would be counterproductive if you're going to put a wall underneath the beam, right? Egress window, anything else? Mr. Palin, Mr. Erica, Mrs. Erica?
I'm good, thank you.
No.
Okay, all right, gentlemen. We're going to talk this out. We'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, hang tight.
All right.
Thanks. Okay, we're waiting for one board member, and then we're going to get going with the decision. Oh, Mr. Palin, you there? Okay,
Elaine, can you hear us?
So the court reporter is there also, please?
I'm ready. Are we ready to go on the record?
yes, sir.
All right, on the record.
Okay. Okay, with respect to petition number 2023-0209, Mr. Mohammed Quaidar, the petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.3, Exception 1. The board makes the following findings. Number one, the subject petition pertains to a basement which has been altered without the benefit of a permit. Number two, the basement is comprised of two spaces, the north side being the originally noted two-car garage space and adjacent space to the south having internal stairs that provide access to one of the dwelling units on the first floor. Number three, the original garage space has a lower floor elevation than the adjacent space, and two steps provide transition between these two basement levels. Excuse me. Number four, the garage space has been altered by removing the original overhead garage doors with the installation of new exterior stair leading to grade. Number five, the petitioner's plans identify a toilet room, a laundry closet, two mechanical rooms, two storage rooms, and two large open spaces in the basement. Number six, the petitioner has stated that he had filed an amended set of plans with the Village of Valley Stream to maintain and legalize the existing finished basement. Those plans were stated in testimony to be dated October 20th, 2021. The plans submitted with this variance application, which is the subject of today's hearing, are title sheet dated November 29th, 2019, with the revision number one, date amendment as per customer, dated October 21st, 2019. These are conflicting dates. So to clarify, the plans in the petition package submitted to the Department of State for this variance hearing were submitted January 21st, 2024. Number seven, due to the conflicting nature of the plans, the north arrow referenced in these findings are listed on the site plan sheet A03. Number eight, the left-south space is denoted on the plans as finished recreation space, which has a 6'1" drywall ceiling height and a 5'5.5" central beam projection to the finished floor. Number nine, the right north space is denoted on the plans as unfinished storage, which has a 6'11" drywall ceiling height and approximately 6'1" central beam projection to an unfinished concrete slab. 10, the ceiling height in the lower right north basement space satisfies the allowance of exception 1 of section AJ 601.3 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State. 11, painting projections in a color that contrasts to that of the ceiling will call attention to the obstruction and alert persons to avoid coming in contact with them. Number 12, installing emergency lighting to illuminate the basement space in the event of a power failure will also provide a safety benefit. Number 13, all the electrical lighting fixtures throughout the left north basement space appear to be recessed above the ceiling plane. Also, exit from the basement is via an exterior door with concrete stairs to grade. An interior set of stairs to the first floor provides an additional means of egress. Number 14, photos of the basement show the presence of furniture and space conditioning in the form of baseboard heat. Space conditioning in the form of baseboard heat. 15, the two means of egress, finishes, furnishing, and space conditioning suggest that the basement will be utilized as habitable space. 16, the board considers space with a ceiling height of 6'1" unsuitable for habitable space and satisfactory for non-habitable use. 17, installing electrically wired smoke alarms within the basement connected to at least one similar device located on the main level of the building would, if properly maintained, provide warning to persons using the basement in advance of a smoke-related emergency. 18, a carbon monoxide detector is required at this level due to the presence of boiler in the basement. So with respect to 19 NYCRR Part 1220, Section AJ 601.3, Exception 1, the board finds strict compliance with the provisions to the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code would entail practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship and would create an excessive and unreasonable economic burden and would be unnecessary in light of alternatives which ensure the achievement of the code's intended objective, or in light of alternatives which, without a loss of level of safety, achieve the code's intended objective more efficiently, effectively, or economically. And the granting of this variance will not substantially adversely affect the Uniform Code's provisions for health, safety, and security. Wherefore, it is determined that the application for variance for the provision of 19 NYCRR Part 1220, Section AJ 601.3, Exception 1, be and is hereby proposed to be granted with the following conditions. Number 1, that electrically wired smoke alarms shall be installed and maintained throughout the basement in accordance with Section R314 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State and connected to at least one similarly maintained device located on the main level of the building. Number 2, there shall be a wall constructed from the finished floor to the entire underside of the 5'5.5" beam projection in the left south basement space with a door for passage. Number 3, the basement space to the left of this wall shall be unfinished and unconditioned storage, use only, and be noted on the certificate of occupancy by the Village of Valley Stream. Number 4, there shall be no cooking or sleeping in the basement. This stipulation shall also be noted in the village issued final certificate. Number 5, that all projections below the basement ceiling shall be marked and treated with contrasting color. Number 6, that all ceiling mounted lighting fixtures in the basement shall be recessed in the left south space. 7, that emergency lighting shall be installed throughout the basement that will illuminate the overhead projections and egress pathways. This emergency lighting shall supply a minimum of 15 minutes of illumination whenever electric power from the utility company is interrupted. Number 8, that the boiler equipment rooms shall be enclosed with a minimum 1-hour fire-resistant rating and suitably rated opening protectives to include interior wall dampers if needed for makeup air. Number 9, that the means of egress identified in these findings shall be maintained at the basement with proper illumination and safety railings on the stairs as per code. 10, that the basement shall conform to all other applicable requirements of the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code, including but not limited to the requirements for carbon monoxide detection. I need a motion to approve with these conditions.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Pavone, motion. Can I get a second?
Erica, second.
Erica, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor, motion is approved. Furthermore, it should be noted that the decision of this board is limited to the specific building and application before it, as contained within the petition, and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. So, Mr. Cueto, we had those, we had 10 conditions
Yes.
of approval. We did the best we could,
Okay.
okay? Any questions? Usually
About
running about 4 to 6 weeks for written approval, maybe 2 months.
4 to 6 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
As far
Once
as
you get that,
I'm sorry, I have
once you,
one more
Go
thing.
ahead.
Was, you have mentioned that the financial burden and whatnot, but you also mentioned that the left side of the wall needs to be unfinished.
Yes.
Also associated with the demolition cost too.
That was the decision of the board, so we can get the path of approval. We wanted to see that as a storage room only.
Okay, and the egress window is not one of them listed, right?
No,
Okay.
no, we thought that might be an inviting feature.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, guys.
You too.
Take care.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, what do we have? 384, Mr. Morbillo? Okay. Did we break a record on that one?
I think so.
You off the record?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do
thank
we
you.
want separate transcripts for each of these?
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. If you want off the record, hold on.
We got it. Okay, we on the record?
Yeah, I just need a moment. I'm having a bit of a technical
No problem.
issue. If I could just get a second.
No worries. So we're gonna read the case into the record. Then who's ever speaking, I assume it's gonna be you, Mike, just introduce yourself, where you're from, all that stuff. Will do. And then, I'll give you the mic. We have 2 members of the board on WebEx, so we have 4,
Okay,
not the full 5, but see how that goes.
okay.
Good to go.
On the record.
Okay, back on the record, the second hearing is in the matter of petition number 2023-0384. Petitioner is Michael Morbillo, and the agreed party is James and Diane Duffy. This petition pertains to an appeal or variance for a detached dwelling, construction type 5B, 2 stories in height, located at 5 Bayberry Court. I believe that's Holtzville, town of Brookhaven, county of Suffolk, state of New York. The petitioner is seeking clarification or relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R310.1, which states Basements, habitable attics, and every sleeping room shall have not less than one operable emergency escape and rescue opening. Where basements contain one or more sleeping rooms, an emergency escape and rescue opening shall be required in each sleeping room. Emergency escape and rescue opening shall open directly into a public way or to a yard or court that opens to a public way. And 19 NYCRR Part 1220 to 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R311.7.2, which states where bars, grills, covers, screens, or similar devices are placed over emergency escape and rescue openings, area wells, or window wells, the minimum net clear opening size shall comply with sections R310.2.1 through R310.2.3, and such devices shall be releasable or removable from the inside without the use of a key or tool, special knowledge, or force greater than that required for the normal operation of the escape and rescue opening. The petitioner requests that a second means of egress from a basement suffice as a required emergency escape and rescue opening for a finished basement space. Okay, Mike, you got the mic.
So I'll summarize just to start, and then I'll go into some of the details. Basically, what this resident has is a finished basement, and a lot of houses in this development, and as of other areas across Long Island, they have a basement stair that leads directly to the exterior. So it's accessible from inside of the space. And it leads directly to the exterior, except it is covered with a roof and it's surrounded by walls. And the bottom landing of the stairs is within the finished basement space. We have submitted pictures of these stairs, and it leads directly to the exterior. In other municipalities, I've worked with this type of stair over the years, and this has always been considered as an acceptable means of egress for emergency purpose or otherwise out of the basement level. And we put in an application to quote unquote legalize the finished basement on this property. And we were informed that we needed to add in an egress window into the basement. The client's proximity or space in the yard doesn't really allow much space for that. However, the house was designed with this type of stairs, so we felt that this was suitable. We initially inquired with the building department to explain why they didn't accept this. And they had cited a technical bulletin, which is included in our Exhibit A2 on page 2 of 3. It's a technical bulletin dated January 1st, 2008. And they cited that bulletin. Prior to, upon receiving that, we had been instructed to seek advisement from the State Codes Division, and we had received on a couple of occasions an advisement on this, which was basically by senior architect Mr. Ellis. And he had sent us an email with an outline, which is our Exhibit A6, in which he had stated that what we had exceeded the requirements of the code, that this went beyond what an emergency escape egress well provides. So he felt that this was acceptable. We then presented his findings. He communicated directly with the building department. There was apparently, it appears there was discussion with other staff on this, which is cited in an email that's also in that exhibit, stating that the plans examiner, Amina Kerr, had conferred with other members in the department, and this seems that they had been handling these types of stairs this way, that they had not been considering them acceptable as forms of emergency egress. So with that, we were instructed that we could apply for a variance, and we're here before you today to kind of discuss the merits of it. One,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Is this an appeal?
this is an appeal. This is an
Okay.
appeal. We filed both I'll say an appeal and a variance. We were told
Okay.
that we could do both.
Okay,
So this is an appeal of that decision, as we feel that is, we believe that that's an incorrect assessment
okay.
of the code.
I interrupted
Yeah,
you.
sure.
Finish your
That's okay,
presentation and
not
then
at all.
I'll hit you with questions.
Yeah, and so this is an appeal. And basically, what we follow that course. We had gotten some advisement. We're here before you today with an appeal and a variance, both actually. The town didn't seem to have an issue with us requesting a variance, which is common for a lot of circumstances with basements, with ceiling heights and other things. So they weren't opposed to that. But we felt that since there's so many houses, especially in this neighborhood with this type of circumstance, we said, well, we feel that the interpretation is not accurate. But if you do find that it's accurate, we would feel that this alternative or this type of stair definitely mitigates the need to have to put in an emergency egress window well. The thing that I would like to point out first is the town's interpretation of the technical bulletin, which I'm going to go to. That was Exhibit A2. Primarily in the email that the town had sent us, and their interpretation was that they felt that if you have an egress, it must be accessed at basement floor level without having to ascend a stairway. So that was their interpretation of it. They provided that in the email. They actually directly quote the bottom paragraph on the first page of the technical bulletin, which is page 2 of 3, where there's a question asked: can an emergency escape and rescue opening in an upper level space, such as a garage, serve a basement if necessary to use a stairway? And then they quote a line that's further in there, which is highlighted in their email. It says, while a circuitous route to an egress opening is allowed, it must be accessed at the basement floor level without having to ascend a stairway. So that's what they kind of are basing their interpretation on. However, the question itself in that paragraph: can an emergency escape and rescue opening in an upper level space, such as a garage, serve as a basement for use of stairway? We don't go through an upper level space. We go directly to the exterior. There's not an intervening space. In fact, the paragraph before that addresses the circumstance that's in the second paragraph, where they ask the question: can a garage with an emergency escape and rescue opening serve a finished basement at the same floor level? They said, yes, it can, which was actually news to me, that if I had a below grade garage that accessed directly to grade, which is common on hilly homes, I could actually, according to this technical bulletin, you could egress into that garage and then directly through a door that leads to grade, which was something new to me. We don't have that circumstance. We're not on a hill. But that previous paragraph says the required emergency egress opening, escape and rescue opening for habitable space that is not in a sleeping room and which is located in the basement may be through a garage that has an at-grade exterior door or a window meeting the opening requirements. So they're saying you can do that, and then that leads into the next one. Okay, well, what if that garage is on another level and I have to go through that, a garage or space? So we don't have either of these circumstances. We are a stair that is open to the basement. It leads directly to the exterior, and it does not go through an intervening space or any other space. It goes directly to the exterior. My experience over I've probably come across these types of stairs a handful of times, although not common. Over the last 35 years, I've seen this. I've never had another municipality have this interpretation. So, we're here for you today that one of two things. One, we feel the interpretation is wrong and should be corrected. If the board feels that it's accurate, then we feel that this type of stairs certainly mitigates the need for an egress well. So if the board has any questions or anybody has any questions this time, I'd be more than happy to answer them, continue the dialogue.
It's definitely better than a Bilko door. You ever see those? And those qualify, right?
Yes,
Without tools or keys or.
yes. those
Uh,
are over there.
I don't want to speak for other board members, but it's definitely a great exit.
Yeah.
I did, but there's two pieces to that. There's the rescue component
Mm-hmm.
from the outside in.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that meets the spirit, the intent of the emergency escape and rescue opening
Okay.
compliance.
Yep.
So, I mean, with that being said, there's nothing really else you can do. It's a good stair to get out, but you've got to go up the stair to get the grade. So now if we have a fire official over here and we have another one sitting here, I mean, what could they be doing to enhance the rescue piece
The only
for
thing,
paths of approval?
I happen to like it, quite honestly. I think it works. You have a decent ceiling height, but smoke banks down pretty quick. So the only thing would be if you wanted to protect the cavity of the stairs is to put a door at the bottom to be able to create so that if the door is closed, then it
Okay.
won't be going up the stairs. But even without that, you're still directing, you're egressing right out. So the object is, once those smoke detectors go up and you start seeing smoke and smelling it, you're out of that building.
Yep. Yep. So, I don't know if anybody else had a
No, I
question
wanted
before I
to,
answer.
I
after
wanted
that.
to ask Erica, yeah, any concerns for the rescue piece that we mentioned?
Outside of what Rich has mentioned, that's about it. It's just being able to identify that goes into the basement. That's
So
the,
like signage on the door
yeah,
maybe?
on the outside door going,
Yeah.
basement access or something like that.
And illumination out there, I don't know if you have like an exit discharge light, so if
Yeah.
you go out, it's not dark, you
Yeah.
can get the safety.
There is an outside, light.
Okay.
And the only other thing that if you really wanted to be protective of, for family and stuff like that, is if you consider just notifying the local fire department of what's called a computer assisted dispatch and give them maybe a copy of it and say, look, this is the entrance to the basement. If there weren't to be a fire, they would put it in their system. And if it would come up on any type of an emergency that was called from that residence or a neighbor, they would know that there is a special entrance to get to the basement, if you felt that was.
If you just put it in the dispatcher will have that as a part of the
Right.
dispatch information and be able to let them, everybody know where, the exits are. And I hate to do this, but I have to run, so I think you guys are in good hands.
You gotta run.
Yeah,
We have to be unanimous now.
yes, you do. I think you guys got it.
Hey,
So I have a question.
Yeah.
thanks, Erica.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is the house for sale or you?
No, they're planning renovations on the house. And this came up as they were planning renovations.
So on the plans that the plan examiner noted in red
Yeah.
about the requires minimum 36-inch hallway and they X'd out the closet, are you taking that out or you're looking to maintain and keep that?
Take a look at it.
Because it says existing storage area, top right corner, where the stairs are.
Existing storage area. There's, maybe they're referring like there's, they have a little bit of shelving.
No, it actually doesn't look like it's there. It looks like if you're standing by the counter and you're looking towards the existing.
Oh, yeah.
Is that coming out or is that, and are they making you take that out or are you keeping it?
Yes, they have an extra, I think that, like, they have, like, there's a duct that's there, so they have like an area underneath the ductwork where they have, like they have some storage, so I guess it appears to be like a closet that.
Correct, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But that's staying, is that correct?
I think in essence that's staying, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
okay.
So the use of the basement is recreation and
Mhm.
storage.
Yep,
All other aspects of the code are met down there?
yes.
And the intention was the
They
stair.
had a cedar closet, they have a cedar closet, which, they felt was, could be considered a room even though it's a closet. So, we had to modify that a little bit to make that clear. But that's all that's going on in that area.
Okay, so for basement variances, we usually look at fire safety, which is enclosing the boiler room. It looks like it's closed and fire rated construction. You have a note there.
Yes.
Smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors. Yeah, I think the stuff we talked about, I think would be, good conditions.
Yeah.
All right, so, Mr. Palin, you have any questions?
No,
Okay. We're gonna talk this out and we'll bring it back in with a decision.
Okay.
All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Apologize for having you wait.
Yeah, we had should have put you guys first. Can you hear me okay? Present? Palin,
yes,
you good to go?
yep.
We only have 3. I just want to make sure you're with us.
Oh, I'm with you.
Okay, just making sure. It's around lunchtime. Okay, back on the record. With respect to petition number 2023-0384, James and Diane Duffy. Petitioner is seeking relief from clarification of 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R310.1, and 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R311.7.2. Okay, the board makes the following findings. Are we being recorded?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't hear it. I just want to make sure. Okay, number 1, the subject petition pertains to a basement which has been altered without the benefit of a permit, as we understand it. Number 2, the basement rooms are represented on the petitioner's drawings as recreation rooms, mechanical room, a storage room, and a closet space. There is no bedroom, kitchen, or toilet room shown on the drawings. Number 3, the primary means of egress from the basement is via an interior set of stairs to the first floor and from there to an exterior exit door. Number 4, a secondary means of egress from the basement goes directly to an above grade door at the top of a dedicated set of stairs. Number 5, the applicant believes that the second means of egress qualifies as an emergency escape and rescue opening and is appealing the code official's determination to the contrary. Number 6, Section R310.4 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State allows a cover over an emergency escape and rescue opening, but identifies such covers as bars, grills, covers, screens, or something similar. The enclosure of the basement stairs at the secondary means of egress is not similar to a bar, grill, cover, or screen. 7, it is not immediately apparent to a first responder that the doorway in the enclosure leads directly to the basement. Its viability as a means for emergency rescue for the basement would not be obvious from the exterior. Number 8, the board considers that the second means of egress is not the same as the requirement of the Uniform Code for an emergency escape and rescue opening as per section R310. Number 9, installing a suitable sign on the exterior door to the basement would alert first responders of the access it provides. Number 10, installing electrically wired smoke alarm within the basement connected to at least one similar device located on the main level of the building would, if properly maintained, provide warning to persons using the basement in advance of a smoke-related emergency. Number 11, a carbon monoxide detector is required at this level due to the presence of a boiler in the basement. So with respect to 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R301.1, and 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R311.7.2, the board finds strict compliance with the provisions to the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code would entail practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship and would be unnecessary in light of alternatives which ensure the achievement of the code's intended objective, or in light of alternatives which, without a loss in level of safety, achieve the code's intended objective more efficiently, effectively, or economically, and would entail a change so slight as to produce a negligible additional benefit consonant with the purpose of the code. And the granting of this variance will not substantially adversely affect the Uniform Code's provisions for health, safety, and security. So wherefore it is determined that the application for a variance from the provisions of 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R301.1, and 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R311.7.2, be and is hereby proposed to be granted with the following conditions. Condition number 1, that electrically wired smoke alarms shall be installed and maintained throughout the basement in accordance with Section R314 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, and connected to at least one similarly maintained device located on the main level of the building. Number 2, that there shall be no bedroom at the basement level unless a code compliant emergency escape and rescue opening is installed. 3, that the boiler equipment shall be enclosed with a minimum 1-hour fire resistant rating and suitably rated opening protectors to include interior wall dampers if necessary or if needed for makeup air. Number 4, that a sign with approved lettering shall be installed on the outside of the exterior door that states this door leads directly to the basement. Number 5, that notification shall be made to the local volunteer fire department with a copy of the plan indicating the location of the door to the basement stairway for first responders and the computer-assisted dispatch system. Number 6, that the basement shall conform to all other applicable requirements of the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code, including but not limited to the requirements for carbon monoxide detection. So I need a motion to approve these conditions.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Vaughn makes a motion. Can I get a second?
Fading second?
And in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved. Furthermore, it should be noted that the decision of this board is limited to the specific building and application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application.
Okay,
You got
great.
you got your conditions, you got your approval.
Good. Thank you
Good
so
luck
much.
with your
Very
project.
professional presentation, a good set of plans.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for
Thank
saying
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The first one would have gone like this.
We don't have crystal ball. We don't have a crystal ball. Thank you for your
You got
time.
it. Good luck with your project.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Okay. Going right into the last one.
Yep.
This is, yes, Chris Robson, John Castillo here.
Okay, we'll go into the third and final hearing. Do we have John Tessie or Christopher Ross with us today?
I'm here.
Hi, Mr. Ross. How are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good, thank you. Thanks for sticking it out with us.
No problem.
Okay. We're still on the record?
Record.
Yes, yes.
Okay, back on the record. This is the third and final hearing in the matter of petition number 2024-0019. The petitioner is Mr. Chris Ross for the aggrieved party, John Tessie. The petition pertains to a variance for an existing detached dwelling, construction type 5B, 2 stories above basement in height, and approximately 4,610.9 square feet in total floor area, including basement areas, located at 16 Spruce Park, Syosset, Town of Oyster Bay, County of Nassau, State of New York. Petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.3, Section 1, which states, space created in basements may have a ceiling that projects to within 6 feet 8 inches of the finished floor, and beams, girders, and ducts in such space or other obstructions may project to within 6 feet 4 inches of the finished floor. Existing finished ceiling heights and space in basements shall not be reduced. Petitioner is seeking a variance to allow ceiling heights in the basement that are less than allowed. I should be able to memorize this by now. All right, Mr. Ross, you got the mic.
Good afternoon. As mentioned, the application was filed to maintain a finished basement with a boiler room and a cellar entrance. We are here today requesting relief to allow the existing ceiling height under the girders to remain. The lowest ceiling height of 5'7" is within a separate room of the basement. The owner purchased the house just about a year ago with all the existing conditions present. Realizing the ceiling height was an issue, Mr. Tessie constructed a wall in front of the ceiling projection to eliminate any injury. The homeowner is proposing to adjust, if required, the 2 doors. There are 2 separate entrances into that storage room where the ceiling height is low to alert someone of the lower ceiling height behind the doors. Mr. Tessie will also install storage shelving underneath the low ceiling to minimize the low exposure other than the two entrances in the room. Lastly, the basement has a separate cellar entrance that leads directly to the outside of the dwelling. The cellar entrance is covered and enclosed with walls. The owner is proposing to install a separate egress window on the north side of the dwelling, replacing the existing casement window, which is within that cellar room that previously discussed. We feel that there's an excessive economic burden to correct or adjust the ceiling and to reroute the ducts in order to conform with the code. As mentioned before, Mr. Tessie just purchased a house a year ago. Everything was existing, and they feel like this would be an extreme burden to correct the issues that we're talking about today. And we feel that the proposed corrections hopefully would be more of a practical solution. So at this point, I can entertain any questions from the board.
What do you want to use the basement for? It says finished basement storage.
Yeah, storage is, the children, the kids play down there. There's a TV down there, a couch, it's just like an entertainment room.
So recreation is
Rec-
habitable use.
Correct.
It says not for habitable on the plans.
Was it?
Prohibited not for any habitable use. But your intention is to have an open play area.
Basically, right? John is on here too. Mr. Tessie is
Okay.
on.
Yeah, that's all,
Mr.
the
Tessie.
TV room. And I
So
think
the room-
when I created the wall, that's a storage area, so there's no through traffic.
Perfect.
So in that storage room that you have, it says existing finished storage, which is approximately 12 by 21 plus or minus
Right.
Yes.
22. That's the room that your presentation, you said you'd put the emergency means of egress window in
That's correct.
on the north side, which would be somewhere near the existing header up, like near the closet.
Correct.
And then the basement itself is going to remain like an open area, just the way the plan is, no other further segregation of rooms?
That's correct.
All right, so as far as projections, I just want to get my opinion clear. In that room that Mr. Bavone just mentioned, that's a 5'7" soffit.
In
Is
that
the
room,
lowest-
correct.
That's the lowest projection where the beam line is?
That's a vent.
I'm sorry?
That's a vent.
It's the AC vent is where that low projection is.
It says soffit, 5'7".
Right, and there's a beam neck, yes.
And there's a beam that runs across, it says a 4x8 piece of steel that's 74 inches high. Is that what that says? Am I
That's
reading that
correct.
right? Yeah.
That's correct.
But this is gonna remain storage? Because you're putting an egress window in, it's set up as a bedroom.
Right, and yes, that's why I asked the
It's going to
question.
remain storage, the egress window, and then the shelving will be installed underneath the soffit, underneath the low ceiling height, and it will remain storage.
Yeah, I personally have a problem when in a storage room, you put a closet within the storage room. It's
No.
just, it's just me. I'm not gonna speak for the other members, but
Closet in the
it's
storage.
setting yourself up. I'm sorry, sir?
There's not a closet in the storage area.
That's actually a plumbing pipe where the trap is. There's a big pipe in there.
You see on the plans where it says pipe, so it's a plumbing closet.
There's no closet in there.
It says existing closet with a door, so, okay. So storage room only, emergency escape and rescue opening. Ceiling heights are compliant with code? Correct? Or do we have a ceiling height problem?
6'4".
Is ceiling heights comply with code or no?
No, not really.
Where's that? I see ceiling 6'9", then I see
6'10" in that, looks like. In that room, on the opposite side of that soffit, down below, right, what does it say right there?
Some part of.
Finished, existing, finished door?
one at a time, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I believe some part of the room has a minimum of 6'4".
Where is that 6'4"? But you come down the stairs, Chris, you come down the stairs and that open basement is 6'9".
Correct, and yes, there's a soffit right when you come down the stairs and turn.
Yeah,
There is
just bear with me. I'm gonna try and navigate the basement. So you come
Sure.
down the stairs, you have a 6'9" open ceiling space. You have this low soffit
Correct.
to the left of you, which is 5'10".
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
So if you go under that 5'10", you're in another space. Is that going back to the 6'9" ceiling?
That's correct.
Okay, and if I circle around the back of the stairs and go towards this other finished space, that's 6'9" as well?
That's correct.
And then we can open either one of those two doors into the storage, and that's 6'10".
Right, where the beam is and not, correct. Where the-
Yeah, and then the beam, the projection over there is 5'7". The main beam that bifurcates the basement is, what is it, 5'10"?
5'10", correct.
Okay. I think I got it. Okay.
What's the distance from the wall that you created to the soffit?
It's basically when you open the door, the soffit's right there.
On
I think one of the pictures you can see.
Yeah, that's what I gotta look at the picture.
It's right on it. It's right on it.
I'm not loading, so I have to.
Yeah, hold on, I'll show you. Because we just had one of these that we had a lot of anxiety on. And
Right, you should
just
see,
trying to understand.
there's a file with pictures, pictures number 4, shows the door open in the beam. Of the vent.
It's a pretty big soffit. Let me ask you, did anybody kind of try and open that thing up to see what is forcing it to be so low? I know this section shows you got like, kind of like 2x4 framing wrapping the steel, which is lowering that even more. Is there a possibility that you can get that, thinly furred out to the bottom of the steel to get in the 6-foot range? It's 5'7" is pretty, that's 5'10", so
I don't have that picture.
do you know what I'm saying, guys? That's it.
I could bring up that picture if you need.
If you can.
Yeah, this section here, it's a wide soffit, but I mean, it's drawn like it's wrapped with framing, which is really exacerbating the low headroom problem. We've in the past asked people to identify what's causing the drop, so we could see if it's easily mitigated with some reframing and drywall.
Right, so here's the, whoops, there's a lot of stuff going on there. I don't know if you can see the picture of when you open the door, that's the low projection is right when you open the door.
Oh, sorry, let me make that bigger, sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was more focused on the
other
is he addressing your question?
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
Okay. Yeah, my question was more aligned with the main one that.
Right, just
bifurcates
keep
the
that there for a second, if you don't mind, while you're addressing the other issue also.
I'm sorry, did you have a question for us? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I think if I go back to the main beam, you got like the section says 7 feet to the framing, but the finished ceiling is 6'9", 6'10". The bottom of the main beam is what, 5 foot? So if you have a 5'10", if you have an 8-inch steel beam, you're in that 6'4" range, so you have framing underneath the steel could that be raised?
You're talking the one in the storage room or the main?
The main beam in the main space.
By
The
the
storage
stairs,
room I'm
the
not
other
so
one.
concerned about because it's not occupied.
Got
Unless Mr. Tessie wants to commit to storage only in the main space, that'll be on the CO. But if you want to use it as, a TV room or a recreation room,
That's a pretty big.
your ceiling height meets code. It's just the projections that are problematic. And, when it gets under 6 feet,
Right, we can call that storage room.
call what, the whole basement?
The whole
We would
basement.
finish for storage. Sean, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I believe that's how originally intended when the filing, that's why it says not habitable.
Well, on testimony and record, he just said he's gonna use it as a TV room.
Well,
Right,
that was,
recreation.
that was something that he was hoping to do, but if that's the case,
Yeah.
then,
Right, exactly.
then he won't use it for that. We could, make sure that it's a finished for storage.
All right, well, we'll take it into account because when it's finished, then you're just regulating behavior, which is very difficult. So, you have the exterior stair, it's one big open space, you have the fire rate enclosure on the boiler. You have the code compliant ceiling height. You're gonna put another emergency escape and rescue opening in a storage room?
Do they really need to do that?
No.
Oh, there was discussion earlier with the representatives saying that because kind of similar to the last case that you had, it was enclosed. So that's why it wasn't counting as an egress. But if we can keep that and not have to do the egress window, then that would be sufficient and.
Talking about this morning when we had him remove all his finishes? I'm sure you don't want that.
Yeah, you think this out because we made them remove all the finishes. If you keep, this is your decision, but if you keep the storage room as finished storage and don't put the emergency means of egress window in, I mean, you have two doors in there. What did the town say to you? Did they have a conversation with you at all?
No, I think we were going back and forth, I believe, with with Mr. Nation's office, you're talking about the cellar entrance on the current cellar.
No, I'm talking about the storage room.
The storage. Okay, no, then we went back and forth with discussion about how to minimize the height, as far as with the doors and adding shelving underneath the low protruding areas to, avoid any passing through, to minimize that exposure.
So I'm just looking at it from what I'm seeing, from my seat. If the wall was moved right to the underside or right next to the soffit area, that wall for the storage room that you have now, and you bring it so it gives you more open space on the outside area, I would have no issue with leaving it as finished and not putting in an emergency means of egress, because it really doesn't lend to be any type of real room to have occupancy.
If you remove the projection from the equation and he puts a emergency escape and rescue opening, that could be a bedroom.
Right. That's correct.
So, I mean, why would you devalue your property? Like, this is gonna ride with the CO when you go to sell. If it's storage only, you have essentially co-compliance except for the projections. Which
Right.
I was trying to ask you before, why don't you just, maybe get the beams up and you got a fully co-compliant situation? Do you have other work going on in the house? Is there a construction project going on?
No, there's no. Oh, but there's outside stuff. There's a outside construction, but nothing inside the house.
Okay.
So is any room to move, now going to the projection that's in the larger space? Is there any room to see how much space you have to move the sheetrock up to get it closer to the venting or whatever the HVAC system that you have in there or whatever's in there?
John, I'm not sure if he's opened it up or looked to see if there's any leeway in there.
I have not.
So we'd have to open that up to see if it's a possibility to raise it, then yes, that's something that we could do. But we'd have to open it up to find out what spacing is actually there.
Okay. Have you got a chance to look at your section number 2 on your drawing 8-6?
Yes, okay.
Okay. When you look at the one that's at the beam, there's a 2x4 underneath. Is any way that you can adjust the details to be able to raise the height?
I would have to, you mean to take out that beam, the what's underneath the beam?
That's
Yeah,
what I was
you're
asking
getting
about
4
before.
inches.
Yeah.
No, not take the beam out, but if you 2x4.
Oh, yeah, take the 2x4 out to raise the beam.
You have 2x4 under the beam.
Right. John, would that be a possibility to take that 2x4 out? This is the one that goes under the main, through the main room.
So I have to cut open basically the bottom part and see what's really in there. Is that what you're asking me?
Right. According to the plans, there's a 2x4 in there. So if we remove that 2x4 and just raise the ceiling, the shell that's around it up a few inches, that would bring you into code
Right.
compliance.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I could. How many inches do we need in both areas?
Well, code is 6'4". We don't know what's causing the 5'10", how much room you have to get it to compliance. But I mean, You could do some structural alterations, maybe the middle at the bottom of the stair could be raised to 6'4", and then you put walls on either side and take the projection out of it. You could do that, or we're just trying to understand what's causing the 510 and if it can be raised and how much it can be raised. So if you
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah,
you know, if it was steel right on the other side of the drywall, then it's a heavy lift to bring the structure up into the floor cavity.
Right.
But we're trying to ascertain that to get a path to approval.
Yeah, if the framing is on a vertical instead of a horizontal, you might be able to fur it out underneath
Yeah.
to bring up the sheet rock.
yeah.
To
replace
the other side of whatever the obstruction is.
Right, that's something that we could definitely investigate,
But
100%.
then what do we do with the storage room?
Storage room is a variance for 5'7". Can that be done as well?
I believe that's something that we looked into between the beam and the AC ducts. It's right to there's really no wiggle room on that,
So
unfortunately.
just kicking this around, it would either be, all right, let's have an adjournment, come back and see what you got, or do we condition an approval with a certain height that you have to achieve?
I guess maybe possibly an adjournment, just so we can see what we have.
All right, I heard you loud and clear. I think, do we have any other questions with regards to the merits of the
The only thing
550 and?
the only question I had before is could they take that wall and move it right to where the soffit is?
It is,
Like this?
it is. That,
Under-
that wall is right on the soffit.
Oh, it is, that
Yes.
doesn't show that way in the.
It's touching it.
It's touching the
So may-
soffit. It's basically just the width of the molding. Or the,
Okay, so.
Okay, I got it.
Mr. Tessie, when you open the door to that room, it's 5'7"?
Yes, the store, that soffit is right there on the door,
Okay,
It's not in there.
so that's definitely a condition as storage only.
Yeah,
They're amenable to storage only for the whole, finished storage for the whole basement. You know, easy to have a slumber party down there. Are the lights flush with the ceiling?
Yes,
Okay. We have a gas boiler, we have fire rated enclosure.
oh, it's an oil boiler.
It says gas on the plans.
No,
we'll have that. We can have that corrected. Sorry about that.
That's fine. I was trying to understand the carbon monoxide piece of the code compliance. And then we do smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors. Okay,
so we're gonna go for an adjournment. Is
Yes, please.
that correct?
That's correct.
all right. Somebody shoot out a motion.
I'll make the motion.
We got a motion to adjourn for more information on the obstruction of the, the projection of the beam in the basement. And to see how much you can raise it based on what's obstructing the height. So motion for Mr. Pavone, can I get a second? That would be you, Mr. Palan.
Any second.
You're okay with the adjournment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. I think that's really all we're focusing on. You guys want to, identify both projection areas, the 510 in the main one and the 5.7 in the storage room, see if anything can be done to get that up.
Okay. And then if that, if it can be adjusted, we'll, obviously we'll resubmit the plans. And then, if we're calling it all, now about the egress window, wouldn't be required if that's just storage or anything like that. That's storage.
We'll weigh that in
restrictions.
as a condition of approval. I don't think so, but when you come back, we'll weigh that.
Okay. Thank you very much. I
Offer it in if
appreciate
you'd
that.
like. I mean, you could conceivably, if you feel you can make some alterations and get compliance, you might not have to come back.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna happen because just like the storage room, there's no wiggle room with that height. We might have some, we'll have to look in the main room, but the storage room, I don't believe that can be adjusted.
So you have 6 inches to play with.
Right.
You have 6'10", you have 6'4". If it's a beam in there, a 20-foot beam, LVLs or whatever, I don't want to tell you how to do your job, but it could go away with some money. That's why I said it. You may have opportunity to just make it code compliant and then you don't have to come back. If you come back, just identify all the stuff that's requiring those, requiring those projections to be low.
Will do.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.